Okay, now we're going to do a walkthrough of the rainbow connection with some of the seventh chords. Now, one of the things to remember with the seventh chords is that we want the seventh of the chord to resolve down by step to our next chord. Because of that, and also trying to uphold some of the other voice principles we talked about last time, this can get a little bit confusing, so we're going to go very slowly through each chord progression. Remember some of the chord progressions that we talked about last time, and some of the voice leading principles that we discussed. So we talked about trying to avoid parallel fifths. That's also between hands. Or even, we're going to try to avoid that, as well as parallel octaves. One great way to do that is to do contrary motion, because then you won't have any parallels. If you're doing contrary, that takes out the parallel. Just one quick note about voice leading. Because this video series is designed to be a bridge of sorts between the Roman numeral type analysis and the chord progression, chord symbols in chord charts and lead sheets. When I say voice leading, it's not talking about the melody, and it's not talking about the singer that is singing along with the chord chart. What I mean by voice leading is that we're going to pretend like the left hand is the bass, and the right hand has the tenor, the alto, and the soprano. So the right hand is going to usually be playing 3 notes. It will not play 4 notes in this tutorial because that would be like adding another voice. And we want to try to keep within the 4 voice principles that you have in your theory books. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about with voice leading. At the same time, when I say smooth voice leading, that means that this is smoother because this gets to stay on the 1 note. This finger just moves to the very next one. This finger moves 1 down. So it's also smooth fingering compared to, but also for a vocalist, if a vocalist was singing these, that is a much easier thing to sing than like that. This is much smoother. So that's what I mean by smooth voice leading. Okay, let's start with the first one, which is the F chord we've talked about before. C/D, C chord with the right hand, D in the left. Now we have our first 7th chord, a D minor 7. D on the bottom, F, A, C. Remember, the 7th of the chord needs to resolve down to the next one. Okay, we have a G minor 7 coming up. Here's G. This is going to resolve down. So now the notes that we have are G and B flat. We also need a D and an F. So we came here. Now we need a B flat / C chord. But before we do that, let's figure out which note is the 7th of G minor. G, B, D, F. So keep this F in mind, because this still needs to resolve down by step. But the next chord is a B flat / C chord. We don't have to move the right hand at all. It's already playing a B flat chord. Now we need to do a C chord. Now the F gets to resolve down by step. See how it went from here to here? Now we need to do an F chord. It's always nice if the leading tone can go back to tonic. Okay, now we have the F chord going to a C/E. It would be easy to do this. But then we have parallel octaves between the hands. So it's better to do contrary motion. Right, now we have another D minor 7. But because of the way that the voicing is going to work for the next chord, for the F/C, we're going to rearrange the D minor 7 chord. We're going to take out the 5th. So here's the D minor chord. If you need to remove a note, the 5th note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th note of the scale of the chord, is the best one to remove. Then you have 3 notes, but you have 4 voices that you need to fill. So it's always good to double the root again, just to reinforce that. Okay, so we were here with C/E. We're going to leave out the A. We're going to do the D for the left hand, D here, C, and F. Okay, the 7th of the chord needs to resolve down. It's going to resolve to this A. Now it's a little bit confusing because why don't we just keep this common tone here? But because we're trying to let all of the 7ths of the chord resolve down, we're going to let this voice come down to A, and the soprano voice come down to this C. So they're kind of switching. All right? Now, we need to avoid parallels, so we're going to go in opposite direction for the B flat chord. Move this up here so you can see it. So we went from here to here. Now we have a B flat /C chord. So right hand does the same thing. C chord. And we have an F chord. We're going to keep the common tone. Now, of course, the left hand is down here. I'm just moving this up so you can see it better in the camera. All right, now we have a C/D. Now we have a D minor 7. Again, we're going to leave out the A, the 5th of the chord. All right, this is the 7th of the chord. It needs to resolve down. We're going to go to a G minor 7, G, B flat, D, and F. So notice that it resolved down by step. Now we have a B flat. Now we're going to go to an F chord. The left hand is going to start moving down. I'm going to put it here for now. No, actually, I'll keep it here so you can see the difference. All right, the left hand is going to start walking down. So that means the right hand needs to start moving up to go contrary. So we have F, C/E, D minor 7, and this needs to resolve down. So we're going to do B flat. We're going to do a B major 7. So remember that means but because of some of the voice leading that's coming up in a minute, instead of just doing it here, this is correct. But so that our 7ths can keep resolving down in a nice way, we're going to rearrange this a little bit. We're going to do A, we're going to keep the B flat, and D. So, again, we omitted the 5th, because we can tell that it's major from this. And we have our major 7th. So if we double the root and have our major 3rd in there, that's all we need. So we're going to keep it this way so that the A can resolve down nicely to the G for the next part that has E minor /A. Now, this is that chord that has to have the B natural. All right, now we need a G minor 7. So we have G, B flat, D, F. This one we do not need to omit the fifth because it falls easily and the next voicing is really easy to get to. So we're here. F needs to resolve down to the E for the C major chord. Now we have B flat slash C. Now we want contrary motion. The left hand has to go down to A, so the right hand is going to go up. This is A minor 7. Alright, this is the 7th of the A minor chord. It's going to resolve down to this E of the C chord. Next we have a D7. We're going to have D, F sharp, and C. Remember, this is because when there's a letter and then a 7, it's implied that it's major, and it's also the minor 7th. So it creates that dominant sound. Okay. Now, we want this to be able to come down. But we also want this to be able to come up. The leading tone. So we're going to do this. And we have a G minor 7th. So yet again, we're omitting the 5th. No D this time. Okay, most of these notes can stay the same. Now we have a C7. This is the kind of weird one because we want the 7th of the chord to resolve down like we've been doing, and we really want that leading tone to go to the tonic. So if we're still thinking of our hands as being like voices, and this is the soprano, the alto, and the tenor, and then the bass is down here, when we come here, it looks like we've suddenly lost a voice because now there's only 2 notes. But instead we can think about both of the soprano and the alto as coming to the A. So there's actually like 2 voices singing this part. Okay, now we have C slash E. We need contrary motion again, and the left hand has to go down, so the right hand needs to go up. Now we have a D minor 7 again. We're going to, we need F slash C. Now we need a B flat chord. Now this is kind of tricky because we have the C still from the D minor 7, and it wants to resolve down. But then if we do that, we get parallel octaves. So instead, let's try taking out the 5th again of the D minor 7. Okay, so that would mean that we look like this. Could also do it this way. We leave out the A there. So let's go back to, here's the F, C slash E, D minor 7, we're going to leave out the A, and then we're going to go to the F slash C, and then that's too many parallel octaves right there. So we have to go the opposite direction. So here's the F chord, C slash E. We're going to do it this way so that we can avoid that parallel from here to here. So instead, we're going to take the D up. So we have the D, F, we skip the A, and we have C. And now we have an F chord. And now we have a B flat chord. We're going to do C7 chord. We're going to do contrary motion. We're going to omit the fifth again so that the voices will lead nicely into the C. So here we are at the B flat. C7, leaving out the G, but adding another C. Now, the seventh of the chord has to resolve down. And even more importantly, T has to go to Do. And we can keep our C on that one.